I've been getting a lot of questions for this build since I released the video, and I've been playing it on my stream. So I'm just going to take this time to go over pretty much every possible question there is. So if you have a question, chances are it is answered here. Yeah. So the build functions by throwing a trap, which throws a totem, and then you throw so many that you hit the totem limit very quickly, and then obviously the note is totems explode on death, and when you go over the limit, the excess ones die. That's how the build functions. So, Devouring Totem versus Rejuvenation Totem. Devouring Totem is more damage, but it costs more mana. Rejuvenation Totem is less damage, but costs less mana. So early on in your build, when you're first setting it up, probably going to use Rejuvenation Totem because your mana regen is not going to be great. Devouring Totem equals more damage, but more mana, as I said. So you're going to want to use it later on when you invest more in your mana regen. So, how to craft the bow. Specifically for poison, because that's what I'm playing. I don't know exactly what people are using for other versions that are like hit-based or whatever. What you're going to want to do, start with your bow. I will get more on in a few minutes. I'll get to bases and stuff like that. But for now, you're going to want to start with Harvest Reforge Chaos in your Hoarder crafting station in your hideout. Uses yellow harvest juice. You're going to want to roll this until you get tier 1 increased damage with poison. Something else you can also look for is damage over time multiplier, but I think it's pretty unlikely to hit that. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to remove that and add it myself. Okay, so now you want to annul at this point. You need 1 open suffix, so this is good right here, and you also need no prefixes, so that is also good. This is what you want to see here. Not necessarily crit strike, but you just want the damage with poison and 1 other suffix. Okay, now what you want to do is go to your bench, crafting bench, craft on, cannot roll, attack modifiers, and now you can use a Hunter Exalt Orb, and you are guaranteed cast damage over time. Now you want to use a regular Exalt Orb, and you're guaranteed +1 socketed gems. Now you want to craft plus level 2 socketed support gems, +2. And then you can just use a slam if you want. I hope you had something good, but probably not. And there you go. Your bow is complete. Now if you wanted to invest a little bit more in it, you would try and get this damage with poison mod and a dot multi. So what you do is you take Harvest, Reforge Chaos, and you would keep doing this until you see poison damage and dot multi. Let's see if I can hit it in a decent amount of time here. I don't think it's super unlikely, but it's not super likely either. I hit it a few times trying to simulate this myself, but as you can see, it's not super common, but I should hit it here eventually. Oh, wait. Hit it there? See? Oh, no, it's bleeding. Well, pretend it's poison. There you go. Same steps here. I'm just gonna remove it and pretend it's poison. If you wanna, you can enter in the stats yourself if you want to figure out what the actual chance is. I'm not gonna do that. So then you'd annul these things off, and then there you go, same process. Just do it one more time. Cannot roll attack, Hunter Slam, regular slam, remove that. Craft on the +2 support gems. Alright, now you can just hit it with the random slam. It's probably going to be garbage, but you might be able to hit something good. For example, I don't know. Yeah, you can hit a res. That's not terrible. Stats, not terrible either. That's what you want to do. Okay. Next, eye levels. I've seen this question a lot. For the low roll of the mod, so the low roll of this, you need an eye level 4 weapon. And for the high roll, I believe it's eye level 60. Now going on to the type of weapon, you can use any type of weapon you want that has it. But bows are the best for damage. Particularly for poison because of how I just showed you. And that +2 support mod with Empower is really good. So note that +2 support gem mods is particularly for if you're using Empower, which you should be using. Okay. The best bows are Americrest / Steelwood because of the movement speed. Though if your build doesn't get much dex, you might want to get just a bow with less dex requirement. Okay, so I'm using Obliteration. I'm just using this for mapping, and I swapped to a bow for bossing. So if you want to get an Obliteration, what you need to do is get imbued wands. You cook them in the crucible mechanic. You find one with the mod, and then you corrupt the wand and use a mythic tainted orb on it. Make sure it's an imbued wand. And then you have a chance for it to turn into an obliteration. You can also technically use chance orbs, but that will take way too long and is probably way more expensive. So yeah, and this also applies with other uniques you'd want to use. Whatever that may be, it doesn't need to be an obliteration. Okay. Just gonna rapid fire some things here, I guess. Yes, the build can run reflect maps. Yes, the build can leech. No, you do not go crit. I'd say poison is the best budget version, probably on Pathfinder, as usual. If you don't want to just be a glass cannon. If you want to just be a glass cannon, you're gonna definitely want to go. If you want to be a glass cannon and you're not on like an extreme budget, you're going to want to go hit based because you get so much damage on this. Like people get upwards of 1 billion. So you'll just one-shot uber bosses. So you're going to want to go hit based of some sort. Ignite is also fine. This build does so much damage. It really does not matter what you do. You're going to do enough damage. Ignite's fine, poison's fine, hit base fine. Everything is fine. Okay. Sustaining your mana. So ideally, or the easiest way, in my opinion, well, I guess the easiest way, but not cheapest, would be to get Slavedriver's hands. Boom, just costs life now. If you're Jug or Life or Pathfinder, you're gonna have no problem with sustaining that. But if you don't want to use them, you can use Eldritch Battery. I'm using it on a diadem right now. And then that helps a lot. You want to get a high energy shield value because that makes it regen more. If you want, you can also get energy shield recharge rate on some of your gear. You need an energy shield base type for that, or evasion energy shield, armor energy shield, but it needs to have energy shield on the base type. And then another good mod to use is skills cost life instead of 30% of mana cost. That's 30% of your mana burden gone. You can get reduced mana cost on rings / jewels as well. There, reduced mana cost of skills. You can get that on jewel as well. Alright. If you get a +2 totem crucible node on your item, which I do not have, it's going to be pretty tough to get that and the totem explode mod. Then you'd use the +2 node here, and then you'd also take this mastery, which I should not have, should not have that. Because I'm using multiple totems, so it summons 2 instead of 1 anyways, so it doesn't, I don't need that. But you'd use this mastery, and this, since it's only 70% on the crucible tree, that would give you 100%. And then you could drop multiple totems to use something like enhance, which would further scale your devouring totem damage. Since the quality of devouring totem is life. That being said, you could also use something like ashes to scale it even more, because it gives it a bunch of quality. Alright. Gonna go over some support gems here. Clustered traps is used, so traps aren't thrown in a straight line, because that is bad for your single target, because they won't all hit. So it'll throw it in a cluster. And then it also makes you throw more traps, which makes you throw more totems. Empower is for getting gem levels to your devouring totem, which every time devouring totem goes up a level, it gets more life on the base value. So it has a flat life value, and then it'll increase with each level. Multiple totems if you don't have the crucible node tree that makes you spawn more totems. It's for spawning more totems. Multiple traps. Well, you throw more traps, throw multiple of them. More traps, more totems. I mean, you see where this is going. And trap sport to turn it into a trap and throw more totems from the traps. And then enhance would be to enhance the effect of the quality on devouring totem. So the starting budget for any of these builds really is literally just how much the crucible node costs. If you're early on a really tight budget, I'd recommend getting one with 600% of their life, just because that's going to carry your damage. Like, you can clear tier 16s on that with no damage nodes. I mean, I'm clearing tier 16s super easily on this 300% life one, and I have, let's see, 2 damage clusters clicked. So, yeah. I think that's something a lot of people didn't really notice. Also, on my original video, I was only level 78. I had 1 damage wheel clicked, and I was melting a tier 16 boss in like a second. And I don't think people realize that. Just saying, oh, it's not that impressive, but I had no damage anywhere. Alright. Do not use Ancestral Bond. It will make you deal no damage. If you're dealing no damage, it's probably because you have Ancestral Bond clicked. I've seen a lot of people say I'm dealing no damage. And, I'm not really sure how else you do that, besides having this clicked. I wouldn't worry too much about reducing your max totem limit if you're not using the +2 totem crucible tree. So I've seen people talk about this, reduce the max number of totems for more damage. It won't be that impactful anyways, and I don't think it'd be really worth it anyways. Just look to get the +2 crucible thing with this mastery. So then you can drop multiple totems, because without multiple totems, you'll have only one totem allowed to be spawned. But you have to use multiple totems, so you can have 3. Alright. Main ways of scaling damage. Gem levels, trap throw speed, global fizz, global dot modifiers for poison, global chaos, for elemental, global elemental modifiers for elemental. I think AoE damage should scale it as well, but I'm not 100% sure. The effect of the totem itself, for example, devouring totem leeches life to you when it consumes corpses, and rejuvenation totem gives you some life regen when you're near it. This isn't really important. It doesn't really, so do not consider that at all. not worth. Not worth basing your decision around that. It's rarely ever affecting you. Purely choose it based off the life value. I think a lot of people have asked about like phantasmal decoy totem. I'm gonna say also not worth, just use devouring totem. Yes, you can use sunblast for more damage. Yes, you can use torch hook step for more damage. I do not think trigger bots on Saboteur work. Pantheons are going to depend on which version you're doing, but I'll show you my Pantheons here. Actually, I swap between these two, and on some bosses I might want to swap to this too. So, I mean, I'm kind of swapping around. Ralakash, I always click Ralakash because bleeds are OP. If you're not in hardcore, you can choose another one. Really, Pantheons are personal preference and addressing whatever shortcomings you notice with the build. Kill all bandits probably on every version of this. You can convert the fizz damage from the totem explosions to other elements using things like Avatar Fire, Hrimsar Gloves, Chieftain, etc. Anything that converts your fizz damage should convert your fizz damage. Rare gloves, the Temple Gloves with Eldritch Implicit, etc. If you're poison, ways to get poison chance. 20% poison mastery here on the curse mastery against poison enemies. Does not matter for clearing. This is just for single target. You will clear fine without having to curse everything. Don't worry about being 100% poison chance on just random trash mobs. 25% here from the fatal toxins cluster. 15% on toxic strikes. 25% Ice Fang Orbit Ring. 20% Hunter Quiver. 20, I think it's up to 25% on Eldritch Currency Glove Implicit. And then there's some other ways too, which you can figure out. But those are probably the easiest options. The Totem Exploding mod is semi-common, but it's uncommon enough that you can get unlucky and not see it for a few hours of just constantly cooking items in Crucible. The build is still good if you can't get the 600% mod. Note, I have the 300%. It's still fine. Granted, it is half the damage, but half of 1 billion is still 500 million. Though those aren't the actual numbers of this build, but you can see the point I'm making. Support gems that increasingly do damage will not increase your damage. For example, I'm poisoned. If I was using void manipulation, it would not increase my damage. It's partially why we have so many trap and totem sports, and it's all totem and trap sports. That being said, supported skills also do not deal less damage from things like multiple traps. To calculate DPS, you have to simulate it in the custom modifiers section of Path of Building. Here, I just stole this from someone else's video. I don't know how accurate this is. I can put it in the description, I guess, if you want a rough estimate of your damage. Don't know how accurate it is, but there you go. And then you put an ethereal knife skill, and then GG. Alright. Next, the build feels fine without any trap trigger area effect to me. I have none. It feels fine. If you want some, you're gonna have to get a trap wheel with trap trigger area of effect. You can level this. You can level with this build directly if you want. You just need to get a low eye level weapon, aka like eye level 4, with this totem mod, and you can level with it. Otherwise, level as anything. I leveled with Armor Brand Cremation, and then just use like 60 regret orbs to completely respec your tree. AoE should scale the size of your explosions. You can see the totem life value of your totem In PoB calc section, you click on here, socket group, you click your devouring totem. And then totem life right here. Okay, I'll just go over some ascendancies here and I'll tell you which I would do and would not do. Occultist would do, elementalist would do, necro would not do, you don't get anything from necro. Assassin, it's fine. Trickster, it's probably good, the top 3 for hit based. Saboteur, it's fine. I wouldn't do Deadeye, you don't get anything. Pathfinder, it's good. Raider, it's fine. Slayer, it's fine. Champion, it's fine. Gladiator, I would not do Gladiator. Gladiator is trash. Scion is fine. Jug is fine. Berserker is fine. Chieftain is fine. Inquisitor is fine. Well, actually, you don't go crit, so I don't know. I would not go Inquisitor. Hierophant is fine. Guardian, do not do Guardian. But like I've said, you do so much damage, it doesn't really matter what you can do, so you can pick a wonky ascendancy if you want to. Now, I think that should be about it